so excited that you are spending a few minutes with me after this amazing show. How does it feel to have this show behind you?
It was an amazing show. I feel a tremendous sense of I'm on a high, a spiritual high. It was a big rush and a lot of prep went into it. So huge relief. It was amazing. So many amazing, talented people performed, and incredibly honored.
That is great. So you guys are headed where? To Tiny Desk?
We're gonna do a Tiny Desk concert in Washington D.C. on October 16th.
How excited! So how did that come about?
Well, we made a video for one of the songs, Unusual Boy, and for the Tiny Desk contest, and Bob Boilen discovered it, and he featured it on NPR's All Things Considered and All Songs Considered.
Wow.
Yeah, and we received an invitation to perform on a Tiny Desk concert.
So exciting! I'm so happy for you. And when is that show going to be?
October 16th is our day that we're taping it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And when will it come out after that?
I don't know exactly when he's going to put it out,
That's your taping day.
that's our day that we're taping, and then it's up to them to do the rest.
So
We are just rehearsing, and I'm playing a lot of shows, a lot of house concerts, just getting in my groove, playing as much music as possible, and I just recorded an album. So
wow. Okay,
yeah.
so tell us about that.
Yeah, I think just being musical in general is the way to prepare. You know, I don't think treating it like any other show, you know, I think that I'll just psych myself out if I think about it too much.
Yeah.
So I just want to be in my zone, like
Right.
just living my life, doing what I do every day, which is I record, I write, I play house concerts, I play venues. That's what we do.
Awesome.
To just keep it natural.
And for people that don't know, what's a house concert?
I host concerts in my living room
Wow.
for Airbnb.
That's so great.
Yeah, they're called like Airbnb experiences.
Yeah.
And so I invite people who are travelers from all over the world to come into my living room and listen to songs. And sometimes I have special guests join me, and I always play songs from my own original repertoire, both old songs, new songs that are unreleased, and I play the Bernie songs, and I play a bunch of covers that people can sing along to,
That's great.
and we have a blast.
So cool.
Oh, and I serve a lot of snacks.
Oh.
Yes, snacks and a lot of drinks.
Cool.
So, I've been working on a collection of new songs, and they're very different than the last album that I released, Black Wings. Black Wings was all about sort of getting out of a really rough relationship that I was in for 10 years. It was the end of my marriage, and each song is a snapshot of a real life event that occurred in the marriage. And this new album, this new collection of songs, is actually more of a reckoning. It's a celebration of my freedom and surviving, and it's sonically different than anything I've done as well, because it was recorded live with a real band in the studio. So there's a cohesiveness, and it really feels like the collection of songs is a cohesive statement, and it draws from influences that are, you know, my core roots, organic, acoustic, and a very, very alive. It's all about the song. I was already recording these songs in a different context when Bernie first asked me to help him make a record and be his voice. And my first instinct was like, I'm so honored that you would ask me to do that, and unfortunately I can't, because, you know, I'm my own person, I'm my own artist, I have my own message, my own words, I'm processing my own stuff, I'm a songwriter, and I'm not really, you know, I didn't think of myself as being equipped to really bring his words to life. I didn't know how to do that. And I mean, if somebody asked me to do that now, still, I wouldn't know if it would be possible. I mean, I think that was amazing magic and miracles that occurred for that to happen. And I think the creative process is totally unpredictable, and you can't say how you do something, because each song and each record is a unique experience. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I think that it happened. It was a blessing in many ways that it happened, because I saw the urgency and the importance and the necessity of making Bernie's album. Even though I resisted it at first, it became more important than what I was saying. It was life or death.
Wow.
And I had to step back and serve that higher purpose. And I saw that I was needed for something that was more important than my own music even.
Wow. That's really powerful.
Yeah, so I put it on hold. It's not that I stopped writing completely, but I still made a couple of recordings during that time, but what I was doing was one-offs, and I was doing them with one person, and who was a multi-instrumentalist who's an amazing talent. But as I was recording them, as I was writing to chronicle the songs, I realized that I wanted a different sound. See, because they were going to end up sounding more like a mosaic, like the way Black Wings was. They were recorded those songs were recorded over a period of 5 years or 4 years. And they each had a little bit of a different sound, which was really cool, and they each captured a different moment in time, which I celebrate and I love. But I felt that I wanted to do something more cohesive. And so I ended up becoming very inspired by the process by which we made Bernie's record, which was live in a room with the band. And that informed the aesthetic of my new album. So when I came, now that I've come out of that recording process, and now I'm playing shows and I'm sharing that music, but I'm out of the studio. Bernie and I made the record. But yeah, the person who produced and co-produced and engineered the Bernie album, David Simon Baker, is the one who's engineering and producing this new album. Where I had done the pre-production with other people already on Black Wings, but then I brought him these tracks we had already done, and I was like, yeah, let's finish these up somehow and do some overdubs and remix them and stuff like that. But DSB wanted to start the project from scratch and let it really have more space and more breathing and more room, and have it be more alive, and interaction between all the musicians.
Well, it really shows on the album. It turned out fantastic, as did Black Wings. So we can only expect that this next one's going to be even better, because you guys are
so excited.
The people inspired by this way of doing it.
Yeah, the people who performed on this new album are stellar.
Fantastic.
And there was a kind of flow that I've never experienced before. I think that there's a great magnetism, number one, towards Bernie himself. I think he's somewhat of a teacher for us all.
Really.
And I think stepping close to that energy, there's something quite divine about helping someone to be creative in this sacred time in his life.
Yeah.
It's sacred, it's devastating, and it's tragic. But it's also a mirror for us all to remember that life isn't guaranteed, and that our time is finite, and that every moment matters more than we realize, and there are no moments to waste. And I think that we all know this, but hearing it and seeing it so directly, so directly displayed is, I think people are responding to that honesty. I didn't, imagine that any of this would happen. In fact, to be honest, when I started doing it, I thought that nobody would really notice.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't think anybody would really. I didn't know if we would make enough to make the album.
Right.
I mean, at all. I didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah.
You said that you had sometimes moments of resistance when you were first called to this project. Is there any advice that you would give to someone who feels similarly called to some work and they might be feeling that moment of resistance? How did you get through those moments?
Well, Bernie is very charming. So I don't know that I would give myself credit for somehow transcending my resistance. I would just simply say that he was so persistent and so charming that my heart just simply melted. And there was no question. I think if you're tuned into the heart and you listen to the signs when life presents you with an open door, and if it invites you to walk through, you walk through. And I think opportunity takes form in ways that we don't always expect. And I think it's really important to be present in the moment and not try to control the outcome. And I think that's a lesson that I've learned through this creative process, making this album with Bernie, but I also think that all creativity responds to that type of openness. Because the creative process is not one that we can control. And I think if you're doing it right, it leads you. The song is already there. Tune in.
That's great. So where can people find out about your next album?
EssenceMusic.com.
Awesome. That's perfect.